Hey chums! We just got back from the most amazing trip ever, and we can't wait to tell you about it. So, Adam and I did get married. We had our ceremony over at Islands of Adventure at Universal Studios, and we're going to try to make another video like talking about that because that was a really cool experience to be able to do it, but we're still waiting to get some pictures back from our photographer. But meanwhile, for our honeymoon, we decided to do something a little bit different. Normally, we stick to doing theme parks and things where you're like, go, go, go. But Adam wanted a more relaxing trip. So we're going to tell you all about our trip to the Bahamas with Royal Caribbean.
This was actually our first cruise ever for either one of us. So we were diving headfirst into a new experience. We were advised to take longer than a 2 or 3 day cruise because initially we were just thinking we should maybe just do a 2 or 3 day cruise, see if we like it. A friend of mine said, don't do that. He said, do a 4-day cruise. You're going to do a 2 to 3 day cruise and you're going to love it and you're going to wish you were there for longer. And then you got to book a cruise all over again and start the whole process. We took his advice and I'm really, really glad that we did. We absolutely loved it. I thought it was really fun. We're going to tell you all about it, all the way from booking the cruise, all the way to getting back home to the port.
And of course, all the upgrades that we did and what we thought was worth it. So let's go ahead and start with our whole experience with booking the cruise. Everybody says that you should use a travel agent. We did not end up using a travel agent. So what happened was I contacted several different travel agents, and to be honest, they were taking a while to get back to me. One of them was a really popular travel agency that we see recommended all the time. Another one was actually from one of our favorite Disney vloggers. So we're not going to say like who was what, but bottom line, because I'm very knowledgeable about theme parks, I decided I could become knowledgeable about the cruise industry as well. We started booking about 6 months in advance, and I spent a lot of time watching different YouTube on cruising, so I learned a lot. At the end of this video, we'll actually mention some of the channels that we feel like we got the most beneficial information from. But we did book on our own. We went through Royal Caribbean. Basically, what we decided was going to work best for us, we found out with Royal Caribbean that there's different size ships. They belong in different classes. If you go for one of the bigger ships, which would be considered like an Oasis class ship, for example, they're going to be a lot more money for the base price. We knew that we wanted to add a lot on, so we decided let's go for something that's going to have a lower base price. So we ended up booking a 4-night cruise to the Bahamas and to Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. We did this with Independence of the Seas, which is considered a Freedom class ship. What that means is that it's smaller than the bigger ships, but don't get me wrong, this was still a monster-sized ship.
Huge.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was a big ship. There were many floors on the ship.
15 decks.
Yeah, we actually ended up on the 9th floor of this cruise ship. That was the deck that we ended up picking. A lot of people said that if you're on the higher decks, you're going to end up like possibly getting seasick. Didn't happen to me at all, but it did make me very tired. I slept like a baby, which I normally don't do.
Same for me. I mean, I usually do sleep like a baby, but this made it even worse. Feeling that little bit of rocking back and forth, which I can still feel, by the way. I found out that's a thing. It takes 48 hours to go away. I think they call it disembarkation sickness. So it's like the opposite of seasickness.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's like getting your land legs back, as they call it.
Yeah. So for us, the 9th floor worked out well. We were in the part of the ship that's the back. It's called the aft. But we were more actually where the aft started. So it was like almost midship. It was like toward the part where the middle of the ship turns into the aft part of the ship. But we really enjoyed being on the 9th floor. The cabin that we booked was a spacious balcony room. Would I book a spacious balcony room again? So I'm going to say that I really enjoyed this room, but it was really more than I enjoyed having the balcony. It was really nice to be able, like if you're up in the middle of the night, to go outside and see how dark everything looks. It's just a really cool experience. And to wake up in the morning and to just see yourself out on the water, that part of it was really nice. I don't know if I would book a spacious balcony again. It is a little bit more money. When we went and we actually started looking at the numbers are not that much different than a standard balcony room. So we would definitely go with a balcony room again, but I don't know if it would be necessary to book a spacious balcony, but you can tell us what you think if you've booked a spacious balcony before. But it was more money, so we did do that. Now, as far as parking is concerned, there are lots that you can park at near Port Canaveral, which was the port that we decided to leave from because we do live in Orlando. So Port Canaveral was our closest port. That's why we picked a cruise out of there. We wanted to keep everything as simple as possible for us. What we did was we actually decided that we would prefer to park at Port Canaveral. It's more money, but it's just a simpler process. Like, you're right there, you get off the ship, you get out of the parking garage, and you're like ready to go into the terminal and to get onto your ship. So we decided that we were going to do that instead of looking for a cheaper lot. I think that for the 4 days,
it was $96.
$96 for 4 days. So that's what we paid to park over at Port Canaveral. Now, the next upgrade that we did aside of the room was we got what was called the key. The key is like how do I explain this? It's like a VIP type service. Basically, the benefits that you get, it already includes the internet. We were going to buy an internet package. When you get on the ship, you can log into the ship's internet, and you definitely want to do that. You want to put yourself in airplane mode so that you don't end up with all these crazy charges once the ship takes off and your phone is trying to connect to something. So you put yourself in airplane mode, you log into the free Wi-Fi that's included on the ship. But then if you paid for an internet package or you have the key, you go and you have a special login so that you can get better internet. Now, what was included with this better internet was we have the ability to do more than just on the standard internet. I could go on YouTube. So I don't sleep as much as Adam, and that was one of the things I was concerned about. Them would be stuck on this ship in this room where he might be sleeping more than I do. But I brought my headphones with me, and I was able to connect into YouTube and watch videos. I played, whatever games I play on my iPad, but I did notice, like for instance, with Candy Crush Soda, my favorite like little app game, I could not ask my friends for extra lives. So you are able to connect, but it's not going to be as good as what you'd be connecting to at home.
And there are certain limitations. But as Mel was saying, the key, if you decide to purchase the key and upgrade your experience, the internet is included in the key. Think of the key, for all of our theme park friends, think of the key as
an express
pass and annual pass benefits rolled into one. So an express pass, because you get to bypass the normal line inside of the terminal. So you have your own line and you zip right through. You're through in 5 minutes instead of waiting anywhere from 60 minutes to 90 minutes, just like an express pass. And it's the same coming off of the ship.
The other thing about the key, when you get onto the ship, you're invited to a special lunch for other people who have the key. It was in the main dining room, but the food that was served was from one of the specialty restaurants, which was called Chops Grill. So we did have food that came from Chops Grill. It was very good. Yeah. We probably could have had lunch at Chops because we had the specialty dining package, which we're going to talk about as well. That was another upgrade that we did. But the lunch was nice. It was nice. We got to sit down with other people that had the key. And that was the first, the second benefit after just like, I'm telling you, we saved a lot of time. There were people lined up and we just went right through. It reminded me of being at Universal Studios with an express pass.
Exactly.
That was pretty awesome. Some people don't think that the key is worth it. It's really up to you. You can buy internet for a cheaper price than for buying the key. The key came out to, I want to say, when we got it for that cruise, it was only a few dollars more than what the price of the internet would be. And of course, the price could fluctuate from trip to trip. So we only paid, I want to say, about not even $30 per person per day for this benefit. Now, if you're
Right.
to buy internet on its own, that's about the discounted price if you're buying your internet before you get on the cruise ship is going to be about $19 a day. So it is a little bit more money, but if you want those extra perks, it could be worth it. We personally thought it was worth it, and we would do the key again. So it was a benefit that we liked. Now, as far as the specialty dining goes, so Royal Caribbean has an app that you use. The app makes most things much easier. You can go on the app, you can see what's going on the ship. If there's something that you're interested in, you can go ahead and you can select it, and it will move over to your calendar and give you a reminder. The one thing on this app that was not working for us was we could not see any of our specialty dining packages, or I'm sorry, specialty dining reservations. So that part was kind of a little bit annoying. We had to go and we had to get help with this. They made all of our reservations for us over at a little booth. The person who was helping us at the specialty dining booth that was set up turned out to be one of the sommeliers, and he told us about the chef's table. I had seen something about the chef's table when I was looking for more things popping up to do on this cruise. If you have the specialty dining package, you get a discount on the chef's table. So instead of it being about $100 per person, it ends up coming out to half price, about $49 per person, if you have that specialty dining package. So we did end up booking the chef's table for the last day of our cruise. We did do that as an add-on. But for the first night, we went to Azumi, which is the Asian restaurant that's on the ship. So Azumi has both hibachi and it has sushi. And we thought that it was very good.
I thought it was delicious. I will say I prefer Benihana to Izumi as far as hibachi goes, and I did not have the sushi. I saw the sushi come out at somebody else's table, and it looked incredible. It looked enormous. And I do regret not going back and getting sushi another time. But the hibachi was good. It was definitely tasty, and the chef was super entertaining.
Oh, he was great. So one thing that I do want to call out about Izumi is that there is considered a surcharge over there. So even though it's part of your specialty dining, if you're getting the hibachi, for example, you're still going to pay a $10 surcharge to get the hibachi. And then when they do all these packages, the gratuity is already included, but they do give you a bill at the end of the specialty dining. So if you go over to the main dining room and you're eating over there, you can just get up and leave after you're done. But if you're doing specialty dining, you still have to sign off on it. So they do give an option where if you do want to tip a little bit extra, you can. But everything is covered with your specialty dining package, except for that surcharge.
Right. I still think it's worth it, though. I think that was absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the first events that happened on the ship was there was a rocket launch about 20 minutes after we left the port. Now, being in Port Canaveral, the ship was docked right across from the vehicle assembly building at NASA. And I was like, wow, wouldn't that be something if there was a launch today? Then they came on the PA and announced that there was going to be a launch about 20 minutes after we departed. So everybody rushed the back of the ship and was standing there hanging out, and we got to see an incredible show. That was just amazing. I've seen a bunch of rocket launches, but that was really cool getting to see it from the ocean on a cruise ship. That's probably a once in a lifetime, if I had to say. Yeah, that was absolutely incredible.
So the second day of our cruise was a port day. We went over to the Bahamas. And for the Bahamas, I did book us an excursion. So the excursion that I picked, I wanted to pick something that would like here's the thing, when you're on these port days, you're basically like, I think we got there at like 8 o'clock in the morning, where you can get off the boat and go walk around in the Bahamas. But then you had to be back at the boat by, I think it was 4:30.
Yeah.
So it's 4:30 p.m. So what you're trying to do is just get a little taste of the area that you're checking out, especially for us because we're not familiar with the Bahamas. So this was like a new thing for us to go over there. It was exciting. So we did book an excursion. We chose to do an excursion through Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean has preferred partners that they have excursions for that you can actually book through Royal Caribbean. The benefit to doing it this way is that if you book with a third party and your excursion runs over and you're late coming back to the boat can end up taking off without you. But if you set up your excursion through Royal Caribbean, they're going to wait for you because these are preferred partners. So we picked an excursion that started off as a boat ride. It was reminded me almost like the water taxi over in when we used to live in like the Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale area.
It's a lot like that, yeah. They
Yeah.
show you the fancy houses. They show you parts of the islands that you don't normally see. They're entertaining. There's a bar. Our package actually came with an open bar for an hour.
Yeah,
which was
so we
really
got
cool.
a couple drinks on the boat, and then we were off of the boat, and it turned into a bus tour. So the next thing we did was we got into a bus, and the bus took us around to go visit some different areas over at the Bahamas, like the rum cake factory. We also got to see an area. What was that area
an
even
old fort.
called? It was an old fort, and
Yeah.
the King's Staircase was somewhere around.
Queen's Staircase.
I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
Queen's Staircase was over there. We didn't get to see the Queen's Staircase because nobody on our bus ride wanted to get out and walk up the Queen's Staircase, which kind of disappointed Adam. But they drove us up there and we got to spend about 20 minutes looking around. We also got to go over to Atlantis, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. Atlantis is a very desirable destination to go and visit over in the Bahamas. It's a resort. It's supposed to have an amazing water park over there.
That place looked so awesome.
Yeah, it was really beautiful.
It was decorated for Christmas and for the holidays, so there were various Christmas trees. And there's a giant glass sculpture that I think may be a Dale Chihuly sculpture. For those of you in the art world, he is the most famous glass blower of all time, and he's a master. I don't know who else would have done a piece that big, unless it could have been a good imitator. But that was incredible, and then it just the vibe of that whole area was awesome, really cool. It felt like you were in another land because you kind of were, you know.
Yeah, but Atlantis was pretty cool. And then the bus took us back over to the boat. We got back on the boat. And for dinner that night, we went over to the Italian restaurant Giovanni's.
Yeah, Giovanni's started off fantastic. The cheese board and our appetizers were great. And then the meal kind of took a left-hand turn into the bushes. I think Mel had probably the most interesting steak experience.
My steak would have sent Gordon Ramsay into a rage. He would have come over, smacked it, and said,
We're still raw! No, no!
But anyways, yeah, I cut my steak open. I asked for medium rare, and it looked like basically the outside of the steak was cooked, and the inside was completely raw and just red liquid coming out. It was pretty.
It wasn't
gross.
even rare. Like, I think this was under rare.
I think it was just raw. It was raw. But yeah, so I ended up having to tell them this is not edible. But I will say that at Giovanni's, the pasta dishes were delicious because over there they let you order multiple things. There's no surcharge at that restaurant, so if you don't like something, you can get more stuff. But we did order some pasta dishes to try as well. They were delicious. They were done very well. We had a pasta carbonara. We also had a bolognese, but Adam really didn't like the sauce too much.
Sauce was a little
I thought it was
sweet.
good though.
The other good thing is you can order half portions. So if it's something that you're really not liking, you're not wasting anything. We ate everything. Once after Mel sent the steak back, they brought it back out. They had refired it, and the steak was actually really tasty after that. So we did finish everything. We didn't waste. But yeah, you can order half portions of pasta, which is awesome. And I thought the dessert was pretty good too.
Yeah, what did we
We had
end up having?
tiramisu.
We had tiramisu, and they actually, if you tell them that you're celebrating something, they will acknowledge that you have something you're celebrating. We did tell them we were on our honeymoon, and that must have been in the computer system because we kept getting wished happy honeymoon by people that worked on the ship. And then they brought us out an extra like piece of cake, which was really nice, and it said happy honeymoon on it. So definitely if you are celebrating something, let them know because they will acknowledge it. It's pretty cool. It's very nice. Now, one thing I want to say about these reservations, if you want to catch the shows that are on the ship, you have to eat dinner early, because the shows are going to end up, like dinner is long over on these ships. Like our dinner took about 90 minutes each time that we ate. One of the nights we were there, we got to watch a show called Invitation to Dance, which was really excellent. It was just a bunch of like, it was a very nice like presentation, like a very nice performance. Everything was done very well. We did miss the ice skating show. There is an ice skating rink where guests on the ship are able to ice skate at different times during the day, but there's an actual show that happens there one of the days on the cruise. One of our dinners ran into that show, so we didn't get to see it. And then we also got to see Grease, but Grease, when they were doing that, there were two shows that day. One was a matinee, and then one was in the evening. So we did the matinee. It was at 3:30, so we were able to catch that one. So when you're booking your dinners, just be mindful that if you want to go see the shows, look at the time and give yourself like 90 minutes to 2 hours to have dinner and to be able to go see the show, unless you go and you have dinner at one of the more simple places.
Yeah, like the main dining room early on or something.
Main dining room is still going to be, we didn't eat in the main dining room, but from what I heard, it still takes like 2 hours to eat in there.
Okay.
But I'm talking about like if you go over outside, there's a fish and chips fast food area, for example. Some of that food is included, some of it is considered an upcharge. That would be something that would be quick. So if you're going to see a show and you're like running out of time, maybe that might be like a better option than a sit-down dinner. So just keep that in mind.
We did also see a magician. We saw a magic show, and that magician was awesome.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
He was killer. He was really funny too. He's a comedian as well. So I thought that was really fun and really entertaining.
While you're on your cruise, or before you start your cruise, your itinerary could change. Ours did get moved around a little bit, but it was just basically switching days out. So we were supposed to have a sea day for day 3, but instead of doing that, that's when we actually went to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. We did not book an excursion for Coco Cay. Instead, what we booked was access to the beach club. What the beach club is it's an area over at Coco Cay that would be considered exclusive because you have to pay to get in there. So there's going to be less people over at the beach club. And it is kind of pricey, but it is a really luxurious experience.
Yeah, it also includes a meal. You get fed a lunch, which is fantastic, by the way. You get ceviche, there's shrimp cocktails, there's hummus, baba ganoush, pita bread. It's a whole spread, and then you also get to choose between an entree, or you can get 2. So we decided to get surf and turf. We both got the fillet and the lobster.
Yeah, what they do is if you just order lobster, you'll get the whole lobster like cut in half. But if you decide to do surf and turf, you'll get a full fillet, but you'll only get half of a lobster. But nonetheless, it was definitely a very like extravagant, luxurious type of meal. And they had like this wonderful pool over there. It was a freshwater pool. It was an infinity pool. It was beautiful. Birds were coming over and drinking the water, and I was wondering why. And Adam was like, smell it, it's not chlorinated. So that was pretty cool. We got to experience that. The beach club, it is expensive. But you know, again, it's one of those things that what's going to be important to you on your cruise. We wanted this one to be like more of a relaxing type of cruise. So instead of picking one of the more adventurous type of excursions, we just picked like to have like a fancy beach day. And it was fun. Did you think it was worth it?
I did. I definitely think it was worth it. It was pricey, as Mel said, and it can actually get much pricier if you decide you want to get a floating cabana. If you want to get a floating cabana, we're talking in the thousands per cabana per day, which is actually only consists of about 5 hours. So
they were gorgeous.
If you're sharing it with another couple or with some family, or if you're wealthy enough to afford that kind of cabana for that length of time, it's probably fantastic. It looks beautiful. It's right on the water. It's floating in the ocean.
Yeah.
So that is really cool. So it can get pricier, but I think overall, for what we got out of it, it was absolutely worth it, and I definitely would do that again. You have lots of options on that island as well. You can go play volleyball. You can go to other parts of the island and do all different kinds of activities. But we actually stayed in that beach club area because it was nice and quiet and relaxed, and they give you towels on your beach chairs, and then they also provide a server who comes and takes drink orders. You can order tropical drinks, which we did, and I think it was worth it. I think that was really cool.
And if you have any type of a beverage package, whether it's non-alcohol or alcohol, you can also use it over at CocoCay.
Yeah.
So in our case, we did not get the alcohol package because I can't, to be honest, I just can't drink too much. It ends up like hurting. So I'm very limited on how much that I could drink. And Adam drinks like here and there, but
yeah, just
like,
socially and occasionally. I don't drink enough for me to come out ahead of the game by buying the package.
Yeah, that alcohol package, we broke it down. Like you'd have to be drinking 6 alcoholic beverages for the day to make it break even, and there was just no way that was going to happen. So that part of it, we decided we would just pay a la carte. And we did get the non-alcohol beverage package, which included like bottled water, seltzers, coffee, specialty coffee, mocktails. So I did get several different mocktails because they had no alcohol, so I could drink as many as I wanted and just get a sugar high. But they were delicious.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think I had a few sips of her mocktails. They were very tasty. They were done the right way. We actually did the math on the non-alcoholic beverage package, which is what they call the refreshment package. And I think we just about broke even. We may have come out ahead of the game like by $10. But it was nice to just know that we had it and we can use it whenever we want without getting charged extra to our room. So I thought that was worth it.
Yeah, and again, they already include gratuity. If someone gives exceptional service and you want to throw them a couple dollars extra when you sign off on it or whatever you'd like. But if not, the gratuity is already factored in when you go ahead and you order these drinks if you do have a package.
Shortly after we got back to the ship, after our little experience over in CocoCay, the Wonder of the Seas parked next to us, and they had their godmother ceremony, which included a fireworks display. And that was just really, really cool. Very interesting to see another ship and how huge it is. Like, that ship was enormous. I think at one point, I just opened our curtain and I was just looking outside from further back in the room, and it just looked like another hotel. It looked huge. It looked like you're next to a giant building. It was enormous. That's a huge ship. It's a beautiful ship, though. It's really cool. I would love to sail on Wonder sometime.
Yeah, Wonder is an Oasis class ship. They've been sailing for 9 months, but it is still a newer ship, and they had their... I don't really understand how that works. I guess they just name a person as the godmother. We didn't get to see that because that was actually in the ship. But the whole fireworks display we did get to see. But it was cool. We were docked with them, and I want to say that boat is like twice the size of the Independence of the Seas.
It's pretty
It
massive.
was big, and
Yeah.
I would really love to go on that boat. There's a restaurant that I'm very interested in eating at called Wonderland, which is themed to Alice in Wonderland. But unfortunately, if you're not a passenger on that ship, they're not going to just let you get on there and have food there,
Right.
which I would have really enjoyed. But perhaps someday we'll go ahead and we'll go on an Oasis class ship that has that particular restaurant so that we can go ahead and enjoy that as well.
So after the fireworks display, it was time to go to dinner again at another specialty restaurant. We decided to go to Chops that evening, which is their steakhouse. Up to that point, that was my favorite out of all the specialty dining. I felt like their food was exceptional. Service for all the restaurants was exceptional. But the food was next level with Chops. I feel like their food was fantastic. I thought it was done right.
They were probably my favorite of like the fine dining of the specialty dining restaurants. I had over there this like this mushroom truffle soup. It was so good. I did not order steak because I'd been having such bad luck on the ship with steak. That's the only thing I would complain about with the food. At Izumi, I got steak and lobster, and my steak, I felt like I ordered medium rare and I felt it was really undercooked. And then I already told you the debacle that happened to me over at Giovanni's. So I decided that night to have the fish. I went with Branzino, and the fish was really, really good. Very, very good. So we had a really good meal over at Chops. So the next day was our sea day, which means that the ship was just sailing around and didn't make any stops. Actually, it did make a stop because someone had a medical emergency, but that really had nothing to do with us. We just knew something was going on with that. It had to stop somewhere to get somebody off of the boat, which I will say, that's why I think it's really important to have travel insurance. We heard that if you have some type of emergency and you don't book travel insurance, you can end up having like a crazy like $50,000 bill to have a helicopter come get you. I mean, crazy things could happen. When I booked the cruise for us, the Royal Caribbean does have the option to include travel insurance, so I did that just in case. Because if that's the thing that you're wasting money on, I would rather waste money on that than not have that and actually need it and be $50,000 in debt over an emergency that happened on the ship, because you never know.
Well, that's exactly the thing, is you never know. You could always say, oh, it won't happen to me, I'm in great health. But what happens if you trip down the stairs and break your ankle and you're in an emergency situation? You need treatment now.
Or maybe you'll own the cruise ship.
Or
But no, it was really like a nice day. We just had a sea day. We were sailing around. The next restaurant that we tried that day, we went to lunch at Playmakers, which is a sports bar. So Playmakers, if you have the specialty dining package, so that's not a free restaurant. If you don't have a dining package, you're going to pay a la carte for everything. The food's very reasonably priced, but if you do have the specialty dining, it's included. So we didn't pay anything to eat there other than for a couple drinks that Adam ordered over there.
I think I had a beer.
Yeah, so that was it. Like, I think you had like a $30 credit per person or $20 credit per person. And we had like the most amazing chicken wings over at Playmakers. They were so good.
They're perfect. Usually we order our wings extra crispy, and actually I take that back. Usually we order our wings extra crispy. And there are very few restaurants who get it right, and we're usually like, hey, could you refry these, please? That would be great.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And whenever we ordered our wings this time, in the back of my mind, I'm going, I wonder how many times we're going to have to send these back. The answer is 0. The food came out. The wings were perfectly crisp the way we like them. The flavor was off the charts, and they were just done right. They were just awesome wings. Very few restaurants we've been to have done it just like that, and they were great. We also ordered some truffle fries with Parmesan cheese on them. They were fantastic. And we ordered an onion ring tower, which was also fantastic.
Oh, that was so good. Those onion rings, delicious.
Yeah, and we'd actually heard that Playmakers is a fan favorite from the cruisers, and I absolutely see why.
It was a great food day. We had Playmakers for lunch, and then for dinner, we got to do the chef's table. That was incredible, absolutely incredible experience. That was a 6-course meal. The chef came out and spoke to us between each dish to tell us what it was, what went into preparing it. The sommelier who had booked it for us earlier was also the one who was like serving us. and describing like all the different drinks that were coming out to us as well. We got to drink some really expensive champagne and wines. They were really, really good. I couldn't get through all of them. They started burning, but I tried because they were just that good. It was so good.
I mean, it was a lot of wine. It was 5 glasses of wine. We started with a glass of champagne before anything happened. 5 glasses of wine in total, plus an espresso martini at the end. So 7 drinks, but it is over the course of 3.5 hours.
Yeah, this was like almost a 4-hour meal. And it was just amazing. The presentation was incredible. Dessert came out and it was this sphere, like this chocolate sphere. There was cake in it and there was ice cream in it. And he poured like a hot sauce over it that was, I think it was some kind of chocolate caramel sauce. And it just like melted everything down so that you could see what was inside of the sphere and everything blended together. I would have totally demolished that if we weren't on the 6th course. I wish they had started with dessert. But we got to eat some really, really incredible food during the chef's table. We had this lobster salad. The sommelier was explaining to us like drink and then have like a little taste of like the vinaigrette and then have another drink. You'll see how the wine changes. And we got to meet some really nice people. So we were seated, I think there was like 12 of us at the chef's table. Everybody was super nice. It was just fun to be around other people that were just like really enjoying this whole experience with you. And it was cool. It was just a super cool experience. I would highly recommend it if it's something that you're interested in. I thought that was one of the highlights of this trip for us, really.
I think
we really
so, too.
enjoyed it.
So, as you may know or may have figured out by now, one of our favorite things to do on the ship is eat, but there's so much more to do. There are things that we didn't do. There's the water slides. There's the flow rider, which is it's like a surfing simulator. There is what is it called? The Sky Pad?
Sky Pad I wanted to do. We just never got around to doing it. They put a VR set on you and you're jumping on a trampoline, and I think one of the games you could play is Crushing Candy.
Yes.
So I probably would have liked that very much. Would have been like a VR Candy Crush.
You also get free ice cream from the soft serve machine over on deck 11.
We took advantage of that
We
several
did
times.
several
I even got
times.
ice cream all over me at one point, and Adam just sort of stood there looking at me when I asked for a napkin. Thank you.
We went to the Royal Promenade and did some shopping, and there's all kinds of things to do in there. It's basically like the ship's mall, so to speak. There's little restaurants, and there's a Ben & Jerry's there, which we also did get ice cream.
You have to pay for Ben & Jerry's.
Yep,
that's
not
not
included.
free. They do have free pizza there, though. You have
Yes.
Sorrento's. There's a Starbucks over there. If you have the beverage package, you can go ahead and you can get your Starbucks for free. If not, you just go ahead and charge it to your room. And they had like different like treats over at the Starbucks. So if you wanted like pastries or whatever,
Yeah.
that was over there too.
The other thing we did on the ship was the escape room. It's on deck 15, the very top of the ship. We actually found it to be pretty challenging. They pair you with at least, what did they say, minimum of 6 players. Mm-hmm. We had a few more people in the room than that. We did escape, and we actually had the best time out of any group on the entire cruise, which was really cool.
And second place for the entire history of that escape room. So our group did really well. But let me point out something over here. Deck 15, there is no elevator that goes up to deck 15. It goes up to deck 14. You have to be able to climb the stairs. They did not, I don't think that they put that on the description for the escape room. If they did, I don't remember. But one of the groups that booked with us for it, their grandmother was in a wheelchair, and she almost didn't get to participate until she said that she was going to try to walk up the stairs with like their assistants. So they helped her up the stairs. She was able to get up there, and they brought her wheelchair to her. So just keep that in mind, that going to deck 15, if you can't climb stairs, could be a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess overall, what I take away from this experience was cruising is awesome. As my old boss just put it to me when I spoke to him the other day, some people are cruisers and some people are not. We found out that we are.
We liked it.
It was great. Definitely would do it again. And in fact, We've already put a deposit down for a cruise a year from now, leaving out of Port Canaveral. We're going on another Royal Caribbean ship.
Yeah, so we booked another ship for next year. We're going to be going this time on the Mariner of the Seas, which is a fairly comparable ship to Independence of the Seas. It's a different class, so the ship is going to be slightly smaller, but it's still going to have most of the same type of features that you'd find on Independence of the Seas. The reason that we have been picking these type of cruises is really because of the price point. We just did a 4-night cruise. We found that we had wished there was another day or two of the cruise. So the next one that we booked will be a 5-night cruise now that we know that we liked it. The next cruise will be a little bit different because it'll be going to Mexico without Coco Cay over in the Bahamas. So we're going to have 2 port days. So we'll be booking some exciting excursions.
Yes.
For both of those days over in Mexico. We did get the unlimited dining package again. It was a little bit more money this time, probably because it's going to be a longer cruise and prices have gone up. Prices for things are going up. But, you know, the thing is, it all just depends on how you want to do it. Like, if you want to have an experience on a ship like an Oasis class ship, there's going to be so much stuff, tons to do, but the price point is going to be much higher. Whereas if you go on something like Independence of the Seas or Mariner of the Seas, you're going to have a lower like base to work with, which is kind of what we wanted because there's so many add-ons that we want to do. But you never know, because I want to eat at Wonderland. So maybe in a couple years, we'll do a cruise on a bigger ship so that I can fulfill my dream of eating at the Alice in Wonderland restaurant.
I mean, I won't be disappointed going on another cruise. I think it's a great excuse to book another cruise.
And another thing I suggest to you, if you can get a hold of a cruise compass, you know, of a similar cruise that went out, it might give you some insight into what's going on. I should have looked into that a little bit better, because on this 4-night cruise, 1 night was formal and 1 night was tropical. For formal night, I did wear a black dress, but I saw some people there in cocktail dresses. Like, once I saw that, like, I wished that I had brought a cocktail dress, because how often do I get to wear something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know how formal it was, so I
Right.
brought my suit just in case, and that's what I ended up wearing. I ended up wearing a suit that night.
But next time I would bring a cocktail dress, because there were people that took formal night very seriously. Then you also had some people still running around in shorts. So again, it just depends how you want to do your cruise.
Right.
And then I didn't even know there would be a tropical night. So Adam had clothes for that, but I don't have a lot of like stuff with tropical images on it. So I definitely would be a little bit more prepared for next time. So keep that in mind when you're going on your cruise, that if you could like look up online an old cruise compass, you might be able to figure out like if you have special events going on the cruise, so that you can dress up for them and participate.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun thing to do. It's a really fun participation for cruising. What do you guys think of cruising? Have any of you been on a cruise lately? Have you been on a cruise a long time ago and want to book a new cruise? Do you have a cruise currently booked that you're looking forward to? We hope some of this information will help you if you've never cruised before, because we got to watch a lot of cruise vlogs and it helped us immensely to enjoy our experience that much more.
Yeah, so some of them that I learned a lot from was Royal Caribbean blog. I thought that was like an excellent for information, all Royal Caribbean. I watched Shannon Ford's blog. Shannon Ford has a blog where she shows like different levels on different ships and explains what the rooms are like. I also like Just Don, because Don, we already knew who he was from Disney. He also blogs Disney, and we just think that he has like such a fun personality. We like Don. Lolita Loco, what was his channel?
Lolita Loca.
Yeah, that channel's fun. He does like a lot of like the cruise news, and the other one that we liked also was The Ship Life. He does like a vlogging style similar to theme park bloggers, like showing what he's actually doing on the ship and stuff. But he does a little bit of news also too. But those are the main channels that we really enjoyed while we were learning all about the cruising industry. And I'm excited. I'm excited to go on another cruise. I'm glad that we found that this was something that we liked.
Yeah, I think I think it's going to become a routine thing. Obviously, we're not doing another one for another year as of this point. So after this, we'll be back to our regular theme park and restaurant material. But once a year, you guys will probably get a cruise vlog from us.
And hopefully sometime next year, a roller coaster vlog outside of Florida. That's another thing that we're trying to
That's the next plan.
here.
That's the next plan.
Now that things are a little bit better with travel, like we're planning to go to another state to go check out some new roller coasters that we haven't been on yet. So
that's the plan.
get that to work out too.
All right, chums, we're going to call it a night here at our house. Be sure to subscribe to this channel right this second if you've not done so already. Smack that like button. Hit the bell icon to receive all notifications every single time we upload a new video. Until next time, we will see you guys at the parks.
Or on the cruise.